welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I apologize that when I scheduled this class, I did not think that it was Memorial Day. This is how the autistic brain works. I'm like, yep, I need a class. That's an open day. We'll pick that one. And so for those of you that are here and maybe skipping a Memorial Day picnic, thank you for being here. Yes, Morgan, we do have a holiday. If we're in the US, we're celebrating Memorial Day. So a lot of family barbecues, a lot of fun stuff going on today. If you guys are joining in on TikTok, this is Monday's spiritual healing for childhood trauma class. And this class is very, very interesting because, hello, everybody. I actually did this class before. And my goal was to upload this class and get it on my website for everybody who needed it to participate. When I went to find the call recording, it did not record. And I was like, what happened here? But I have found there's always a reason for, and I'm sorry guys, I'm gonna change positions. I like to sit cross-legged. I always find that there's a reason for everything. And typically when the calls don't record, it means that I probably missed some information or something was too sacred of a spiritual experience to record. Because when I record my calls, guys, I record twice, one on my computer and one on the Zoom cloud, so that I'll never miss a recording. And for it not to work on both places is, there's some spiritual interestingness afoot there. So this class, I am doing one because I have found as I work with my clients that a significant amount of them are experiencing or have experienced or are holding on to childhood trauma of some sort. And that childhood trauma is affecting them physically or mentally. It is preventing them from healing. It is disrupting their life. It is making them stuck in life. It is one of the reasons why they get stuck and they plateau, why they feel like they keep getting into bad relationships over and over again, why they keep getting bad bosses over and over and over again, why they can't seem to get past a certain level. And so they're like, I'm stuck. Why is my life stuck? Why am I not able to heal? And this was really profound for me because, let me see if I can find any of my books here and I'll show you. I can't find them, but as you guys know, I'm a certified Reiki master. I am also certified in pranic healing. I'm a certified trauma-informed life coach, as well as a bunch of other stuff. And so I have a lot of healing books. And what I did is I was like, oh my gosh, all my clients are going through this trauma and I need to help them heal. And so the first thing I did was that I went to my books and I said, there's got to be something in here so that I can help my clients. And so I scoured my books and scoured my books some more and scoured my books some more. And I realized there was nothing in my book, any of my healing books, on specifically focused on healing childhood trauma. And as someone who has personally experienced childhood trauma, I had set aside my trauma and figured, you know what? I don't need to deal with it. It's fine. I'm on my spiritual journey. I can't remember. It's fine. I don't need to work on this. But now I've realized, and I knew this before, so I don't know why I didn't realize it with the trauma, that the clients that I work with and the people, those of you that are here and with me, are here because we are on a similar healing journey. And as I discover the healing process for myself, I am also sharing that healing process with you guys. And sometimes I have either just recently healed something or I'm in the process of healing something. So you guys know, for me, I always talk about my throat chakra. If my throat chakra starts to go off, I'm like, furball. And that is reflective of me being on the similar spiritual journey. And so when someone else's energy is also experiencing that trauma, it sets my throat chakra off. And I'm like, so I, I had just set my trauma aside. And if you guys aren't aware of my own childhood trauma, one, I do not share for sympathy or pity. Please don't go in, oh, poor you, poor you. This is not what this is about. This is about me showing my path to you, showing my journey to you so that you can understand that I understand yours, even on a small part. So I grew up in a very abusive home, emotionally and physically. One of our phrases at home was, is dad in a good mood or a bad mood? And if dad was in a bad mood, we would hide. My favorite hiding places were underneath the bed, or I had a big giant dollhouse that I would contortion myself into to hide so I could not be found and beat. I was sexually molested by a neighbor. I have had, I was, by the time I believe I was 13 or 14, don't quote me on the dates. I had a gun held to my head by my dad because I stepped in front of him to protect my brothers and sisters. I ended up being sent off to boarding school, which was a great blessing for me because my mother was afraid that we would kill each other or something like that would happen. And so I went to boarding school, which was an amazing, amazing thing for me. I made beautiful friends and really loved it there. But then my parents got divorced. And at 15, I found myself homeless. And I was bouncing back and forth with nowhere to go. I married an abusive alcoholic who continued that pattern of abuse beyond my childhood, and left him after he pushed me out of a moving car while pregnant. And this is just glossing over the surface of things. However, when I work with my clients, I go in and I say, where is your original source of trauma? Where is the original source of what has happened? Because there is an original injury. And I'm going to get my little notebook out here and find these are all my client calls. I go through these notebooks. This is like 2 weeks of client calls. This is literally because I go through here. Okay, so make sure there's no client names on here. Okay, cool. So what happens is, and if you look at this, this is your auric field, right? Guys, I actually have an art degree, just FYI. And so this, if you look at the damage that happens to your aura, you have your traumas, your original traumas. And so this damage will reflect into your soul. And people will recognize in your soul what is going on. And so when you find yourself attracting narcissists, bad boss, abusive people in your life, this is because either subconsciously or consciously, they're going, ooh, she's got some trauma, he's got some trauma, you're an easy target for me. You're an easy target. And so this is why you will see consistent patterns within your life of why you're attracting the same type of situations. And I hate saying that we attract it. I would like to actually reflect more that they're taking advantage of it. They're seeing the weakness within us and they're taking advantage of that weakness. There is a question on TikTok that I want to respond to. Queen Shamrock said, is this the dad that's a doctor? Yep. Sure is. My dad had his own trauma and his own healing work to do. And this is why I believe anyone can heal. My dad is now my best friend. And so I'm going to reflect to you that one of the people in my life that was the most abusive to me is now my best friend. And I love him completely and I've completely forgiven him because he has made the efforts to become a better person. And he is amazing now. And he is so supportive of me and lifts me up. And so when we look at the people who hurt us, if we are able to completely forgive them, so many powerful things happen. Now, there are times that we have to burn the bridges and close the doors. But to me, even if I'm burning a bridge with someone, I say, you know what, if that person's healed, they're always welcome back into my life. And honestly, my dad, well, he had his own trauma and he was reactive to his trauma. And he healed it. And he's been actually more supportive than my mother and cared for me more than my mother. And if you look at the way I was as a teenager, as I was reactive to my trauma, I was a horrible teenager. I was like running with car clubs and gang members. I literally dated a drug dealer when I was, I don't know how old I was. I think I was 16, not very long, a brief moment in time. But, you know, I was like so off of what I am now. And so if I can heal and if my dad can heal, anyone can heal. And there are people on TikTok, they're saying, yeah, I've forgiven their abusers. I won't even call them abusers, but the people that you've experienced trauma with together. And, you know, when you look at forgiveness, forgiveness is going to be a huge part of your trauma healing. However, it doesn't have to be the first part of it. Sometimes there are traumas that are so great that we need to heal a lot of ourselves before we can step into forgiveness work. However, I will reflect this to you as I talk to my clients and the people in my coaching course and the mentors, that not forgiving someone is basically like taking your car keys and saying, here's my car, you drive my car, I'll sit in the back seat while you take me wherever you want me to go. And there is a saying, and many of you may have heard this saying as well, that not forgiving someone is like drinking poison and expecting them to die. And I'm sorry, but I don't want to poison myself with that. You know, and someone on our our Zoom class says, I was traumatized before I could wipe my bottom. Yeah, there are some traumas that start in the womb. There are some traumas that are inherited. There are many studies that have actually shown that, especially if you look at like World War, I believe it was World War II, where the Holocaust was, forgive me guys, because my brain doesn't remember my history very well, that Holocaust survivors and survivors, there was actually also a famine in Holland, that was ingrained in their DNA through epigenetics, and they can see the results of that trauma reflecting not only in the survivors, not only in their children, but also in their grandchildren, that it keeps getting passed down. Now, if you have dealt with childhood trauma, you may find that you have difficulty with your health, with losing weight, or with even gaining weight. Well, also, if you are super thin and you can't gain weight, it's another reflection of that. There are studies that have been done that have found that you are 168% likely to have a health issue if you have experienced childhood trauma. So basically 100% plus some. And that's pretty profound. When I work with my clients, and this study has actually also shown this as well, that typically people who have childhood trauma are going to have issues with their nervous system, with their heart, with their lungs, kidneys, skin, or stomach. So if you have childhood trauma and you're experiencing health issues in any of those areas, that is your trauma probably reflecting through this. And so, you know, so many people are like, I don't know how to heal this. I don't know how to do this. And this is what we're going to start with this class. You know, sometimes we don't even remember the past completely. Like for me, I actually do not remember being molested. And that was really profound for me because my sister, she actually called me, I don't know when it was, 6-8 months ago. And she's like, hey, I found some paperwork in mom's papers. My mom is missing right now. If you guys don't know that, I won't go into details. She's missing. It's intentional on her part. We haven't seen her in 4 years. So my sister was going through some of the papers that she left behind. And she goes, I found this police report. And I'm like, oh, weird. Okay, what is it? And she goes, do you remember, or did you know that we were molested when we lived back in Portland? And I was like, no. I'm like, I don't remember anything about that. And I go, do you? And she goes, yeah. And she goes, how do you not remember that? And I'm like, I don't. I don't remember that. I'm sorry. And I've realized that the trauma was so great for me that I blocked it out. What I do remember is I remember living at that house. I remember the person, and I remember that I went to Girl Scout camp. And when I got back from Girl Scout camp, we had moved and no one ever told me why. And this is back in the 80s where people kind of brush things under the rug. They didn't have therapy or support like they did. They're just like, oh, okay, that happened, have fun. And it was very rare for children to get trauma support back then. I did find out the guy did go to jail and serve some time for it. But I didn't even know about it. So I had no idea that that was affecting me in such a profound manner. So we don't always have to remember what happened to heal it. We just need to know that it's ingrained in the body and that we're holding on to that. So when you look at, and I'm going to pull up my notes here for this, when you look at the chakras, childhood trauma and abuse reflects in chakras in this way. It will damage your root chakra, your sex chakra or your sacral chakra, the navel chakra, the heart chakra, the throat chakra. It will damage your third eye and your crown chakra. So it does quite a bit of damage to the energetic body. If you guys don't know about chakras, all you need to know is that you have a spiritual body and a physical body. Your spiritual body reflects in your physical body, and your chakras are basically, think of them as like little cones or megaphones, and they bring in clean energy to energize that spiritual body, and they expel out any damaged energy. And so, and that is very necessary for us to have the chakras so that we can re-energize and heal our body. When there is damage to the chakras, it will close them, clog them, break them, congest them. When I look at the spiritual field of someone who has experienced trauma, it looks like, where's my paper? Sorry, guys. It looks like I was just talking about this little damage and breaks. So typically trauma will look like two things. It will look like this, where there's great big gaps and breaks. This typically will reflect as depression in someone. Now, it will also look in other ways, which is anxiety will cause anxiety. And anxiety looks more like tiny little fractures, like this little pink here. It looks like tiny little fractures. And those tiny little fractures are kind of like broken glass. And so if you've ever seen glass that's intentionally broken, but it's still kind of, you know, that glass that's intentionally broken, but it's still holding together, that is kind of what anxiety looks like. So it looks like these breaks in the auric field, and the body goes, I'm broken, but I'm not. I'm leaking energy out. I don't know what's going on, and I don't know how to fix this. This damage needs to be repaired. And how do we repair this? We first look in at protecting and healing the childhood self. We're going to go in and we're going to do what I consider a pretty sacred meditation, where we're going to send protection and healing back to our childhood self. I have a lot of people who ask me, they're like, how did you get through all that? How did you get through and not be completely insane? And I think that this is why, because recently, the past year or so, when I am in prayer or meditation, I focus on sending healing and protection back to my childhood self. I focus on seeing my childhood self and telling her, you are strong, you are smart, you are beautiful, you are protected. I envision sending angels back to surround her and protect her. And I really think that this is why. And there is actually a scientific study. I'm big on connecting the spiritual and the esoteric that was done that really made me understand this, where they did a study where they went and prayed for people who were having surgery. And they, you know, it's like a regular study. They had half they didn't pray for, half they did. And they found the people that they prayed for had significantly better surgical outcomes. They died less, they healed faster, blah, blah, blah. They did so much better, right? And the people that weren't prayed for ended up having worse surgical outcomes. having more health issues, and they died more often. But the kicker to all of this was what? That they had prayed for people 10 years in the past. And so they felt this study reflected that they were able to send these healing powers, gifts, whatever, back into the past. And I just was like, that's it exactly, because I'm sitting here praying for the past self. And so I would once again reflect to you guys that one thing I want you to do is go back to where you were most traumatized and felt the most pain, and pray for yourself, meditate for yourself, send healing back, whatever your belief system is. This is not about religion. This is about connecting with yourself and healing that self, sending protection of whatever that looks like for you. And we're doing it with love and peace. We're not going to send hate or anger or punishment back to the person who hurt us or the people or the instances, but we're going to send that love and support back to our previous self. While we cannot change the past, I do believe we can heal it. And this is one way we're going to start doing this. So this is your homework, is to pray for your past self, send your past self love, send your past self support or protection. And so we will look at doing a little bit more of that as we go through the meditation. So when we go into the energetic field, we're going to look at where your damage is. What do we need to do to balance and heal the chakras? We are going to look at finding the points of pain that we need to fix, the original injuries. And so when we do the original injuries, it can really support us. Now, Mamacita Lupita, I hope I said that right, asked, can we do this for, she wanted to know if she could do it for her husband. You can pray in the past for your husband. Absolutely. You sending healing is a little bit different to me. Like sending someone prayers or protection is one thing, but I feel like when we're actually doing healing work for someone, we need their permission to do that, because it's an invasion of their energetic field. So what you need to do is just maybe send that healing prayer to him. If you don't know what your trauma is, you don't need to know. You just need to know that it exists. And so just ask your body, when did this happen? And if your body says an age or a number, just focus on yourself at that point. If you can't have it, the way that we do the meditation will take you through things. One of the other things that I have found with trauma is that there is a separation of self. As a preservation method, I can't talk to guys. As a preservation method, we split parts of our soul away from ourselves. Okay, so we'll be like, oh, here's the damaged part. I'm going to stick this over here so I can keep functioning. Here's another damaged part. I'm going to stick this over here. And we start locking up pieces of who we are to protect ourselves from being hurt again. I had a client today that literally put herself in like a steel metal egg. And when I tried to go in and talk to her, she'd just peek through the peek hole and be like, nope, not talking to you. And this was me talking to her subconscious, not in reality. And when I go in, I talk to people's subconsciouses, and sometimes they're like, hey, what's up? Let me tell you everything about it. But when I see the people who have experienced the most trauma and pain, there's always some sort of protection, or they're skeptical, or they're like, who are you? And why do you want to talk to me? Because they've been hurt so much, they've put these walls up around them. Typically, most people will have some sort of wall or protection put around their heart because their heart has been broken so many times. I have to put that around my heart. They will look at struggling with spending time with people who look or act similarly to the person that's caused them trauma. And so pay attention to those things. Ask your heart if you have walls. Ask your body if you've been blocked, or if there's something that's preventing you from healing. Trauma healing is definitely in layers. I will be honest, there will be some of you that this will be like, bam, I'm totally on this healing path. It's amazing. There's going to be others of you that it's going to be a slower process, where this healing, it's like, you guys ever see Shrek where they're like ogres are like onions, they have layers? Healing is like that too. Healing is layers, and you peel back the onion and you cry, and then you peel back another layer and you cry and you release, and you keep working until you keep peeling back those multiple layers. And I honestly believe that healing is a lifelong process, that we are constantly healing, we are constantly shifting our energy, and growing. If anyone ever tells you they're done with their healing process, they're lying, because there's always another layer that you can do. And if you say that you are done, you're ignoring any growth opportunities that you have spiritually. I mean, even with me, like I talk about forgiveness all day, every day, right? And like yesterday, there was this bike rider that he kind of was riding in the middle of the regular car lane instead of the bike lane. And I was like, oh, son of a beach ball, get out of my way, dude. And I started getting pissed off. I was like, just move. And I was like, okay, hold on. No, we don't want to hold on to these emotions. So I started sending him Ho'oponopono. And I was like, I love you. I forgive you. I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you for being a part of my journey today. And I really tried to shift those emotions, recognizing that it is human to have emotions. It is normal to be angry, mad, upset, sad, totally normal to have that. What is not okay is when we start making those negative emotions part of who we are, part of our life. When we hold on to these traumas, they'll start reflecting in things. And if we really hold on to them tightly, they become toxic. And when they're toxic, they create energetic weakness that will start reflecting in our body as illness. So yelling was a big thing in my family. We were yellers. So I learned yelling. And so I damaged my throat chakra by being a yeller, because I am like, nobody hears me, nobody listens to me, I am unheard, my trauma is unheard, so I'll express it in yelling, right? And so we will all reflect these traumas in different ways, and they will cause damage in different ways. So for me, that damaged my heart chakra. I'm like allergic to wheat. I have stomach and digestion issues. So that reflects the damage in my solar plexus, right? I gain weight in my arms. Why do I gain weight in my arms? Because I need to protect myself from the people who hurt me. It is also why I gain weight in my stomach. And I'm going to be vulnerable here. Sorry, guys, I'm going to stand up. Hopefully you can see this. Maybe not. Here we go. Okay, you see this? This fupa right here? Guys, you may not be, I'm going to move my camera. So this chubba love down at the bottom that hangs over your pubic bone, that's reflective of sexual trauma. Anybody who's been raped or has a childhood trauma in that area, when you gain weight, you're going to gain it there. Why? Because it's going to protect that area. Okay. So look at what is in your body. And next time you see someone that's a chubby bunny like me, and they have a flubby fupa tummy, send them love, because they've gone through a lot of shit. They have, and it's reflecting in their trauma. So, healing your trauma may be a lifelong journey. It may be a continued journey. It may be, okay, for me, I recognized yelling was my trauma. So I healed the yelling part. I've recognized so many things that I am healing. I peel them back and I heal more. And clearly, if you look at my body where I'm still gaining weight, my body still feels the need for protection. So it keeps layering that protection on me. So you might notice that you have a hard time losing weight. You also might find that you have a hard time, and I wrote this down, so I need to find my notes. You have a hard time gaining weight. Where's my note on this? I made it on a different book. Here, hold on a second. Make me beepy-doo. Fun times. Here it is. Okay. So if you have a hard time gaining weight and you have trauma, what did I write down? I wrote, it is a rejection of yourself and a reflection of an unhappy childhood. And so if you're like, you will find, like, my daughter actually has a friend whose mother was very abusive to the point where she like locked her in closets and horrible stuff. And she can't gain weight to save her life. That girl puts down more food than any football player I've ever experienced, and she just like gain weight. because she's rejecting herself, and that trauma is reflecting, and she's saying, I'm rejecting who I am because who I am is damaged. So also super, super skinny people who have a trouble gaining weight, that may also be reflective of a trauma as well. And so, you know, if we understand these features and traits, I think that we'd be more loving and more gentle and kind to each other. If we were able to look at someone and say, okay, I can see their trauma reflecting in their body, we're more kind. I can look at people who have tattoos, and the tattoos will reflect trauma. Typically people who have dealt with narcissists, you guys may have seen my TikTok video about the forearm tattoos. If you haven't, you can go watch it. This is reflecting a controlling, narcissistic, abusive person in their life, typically. If they have tattoos on their shoulders, it's a lack of support from family. Typically people who have experienced the most abuse will tattoo their face, they will tattoo their stomach or their ribs, but not limited to that things. So you can see where the traumas are reflecting in people. Birch Tree Wealth says forearm and rib tattoos. And why do we get tattoos? It is the body saying, I need to heal from my trauma. I have so much energy built up and causing pain within me that it needs to release. And so we go get tattoos as a way to release. It is pretty much on the same level as cutting. So I don't know if you guys can see, it might be hard to see. I actually have a little heart cut in my finger here, and I have a cross cut in my leg because I used to cut myself to release that. I even have some scars on my wrist. You might not be able to see, those are pretty faint, from cutting, because I need to release. And so there is a lot of ways that we look at releasing. Some people will pull their hair or twiddle or things like this. And so just pay attention to when you notice people that have those things, that, you know, they're coming out of the other side of a lot of trauma. And anytime I see someone tatted up, I'm like, you're amazing. You're a survivor, you know? So what we're going to do, guys, now is we're going to go into the energy healing portion of the class and the meditation. So if you haven't, and I'm going to give you guys just like a minute to grab a drink of water, to kind of stretch, make sure you're in a quiet area. And yes, this looks like soda. I swear it's water. See, I actually don't drink soda. I look like I eat unhealthy, but I don't. And see, this is one thing, like my husband, he's in medical school, and he's like, hey, I don't get why you can't lose weight. You eat really healthy and you don't eat that much. And I'm like, I do, because it's my trauma reflecting. So, you know, it's funny that way, but, you know, I have my own guilt and judgments for myself where I'm like, oh, I don't want everybody to think I'm drinking, you know, I'm drinking unhealthy stuff. I don't typically actually drink soda. Every once in a blue moon, though, I do like a root beer float. So, all right. Thank you. So let's start focusing in. I'm going to move my chair a little bit. I'm going to light some of our incense. And the reason I light incense, guys, and I'm actually also going to light sage. And this is why that, you know, my mentor, Dan, who is an Ojibwe Nation medicine man, who's been training me and helping me. And one of the things he told me about sage or incense or things like that is that it lifts up the energy to creator for healing. And so the smoke takes up the pain, smoke takes up the injury so that we can heal. And so when I do anything that we're doing a lot of healing work for, or something that's really heavy or filled with trauma, I'm going to light a lot of incense. I'm going to light a lot of sage. And my husband loves it. He comes in and he's like, oh, it smells so amazing. And so real quick about incense and things, there's some controversy about using sage. I am gifted my sage by Dan. And I do have Native American heritage, although I'm not connected to my community or my tribe, because my mom was doing that and then she went missing. So just FYI, if anybody wants to come down on me, please don't. But sage, the way that I see sage is like sweeping. Palo Santo is another great one if you find sustainably harvest Palo Santo. This is, and I'm going to light a little bit of this. Sage is like sweeping. Palo Santo is kind of like mopping. And then you can also use cedar, which is more sustainably available. And cedar is kind of like, you ever see those, they're like mops and vacuums all in one? That's kind of like what cedar does. So all of these things are very healing and cleansing. And hopefully I don't light my floor on fire because I just dropped the Palo Santo, but luckily I think it's out. If there's smoke that starts happening, guys, I'll let you know, but I think it's fine. I tell you, I'm a little bit of a klutz. So I have my little mug full of things that I'm going to set aside, and we're going to get into this healing. But, you know, I like to teach as I go so that you guys leave this class with greater knowledge to help yourselves. And this is the one thing I really want to underline as we go into this healing for trauma, is that your body has the ability to heal. If you've ever had a cut, an injury, or anything that's gone on within your body, and your body has healed that, then that's a reflection that your body knows how to heal. What I am doing today in this class is I'm just reminding your body, and I'm helping you remember how to heal this part of you. And so, you know, if anyone ever comes to you and they say, oh, pay me $1,000 and I'll heal everything in you, just be like, no, thanks. Because you have that power within you. Sometimes you just need to kind of awaken it up. And what I do is that I am this conduit of light and messages that I just remind your body, and I share healing messages and healing energy to reactivate your body's own divine healing abilities. So yeah. Also keep in mind that if you feel dizzy or nauseated during this, to drink some water, take some deep breaths, or kind of just relax or lay down. And that you may feel very tired when we're done, and just I'll give you some self-care tips after that. So just paying attention that if you feel tired or feel like you need to lay down, go do that. Take care of you. You're most important. So we ready to go? We're going to start with 3 deep breaths in. Most of you who've been with my class will already know about my deep breathing. However, if you don't know about deep breathing, as you know, Westernized society, we hold our breath up here in the top of our lungs. And so what we're doing is we're oxygenating and fully breathing in the lungs. And these 3 deep breaths are just going to reset our energy before we go into the trauma healing. So I'm going to do this with you, and I'll kind of guide you along as we go. So we're going to go first, deep breath in. Pause. Exhale. Deep breath into the nose, 2. Pause. Exhale. 3rd time, in through the nose. Pause. And exhale. And so focus in on yourself. Focus in on your body. And I just want to recognize where your body is, what you're feeling as you continue to deep breathe. Notice if you're holding on to any negative emotions. If you have any physical symptoms, recognize and notice those. And just gently be aware of your body. Feeling gratitude for the amazing abilities that your body has, for the amazing experience that you are experiencing now as a human, as a spiritual being who is having a human experience for the learning and growth of your soul. But now we will recognize that we have been allowing negative emotions to become part of who we are, to take control of our life. And it is time to let go of the trauma and the emotions from the past. Continue to deep breathe in. Feel the areas of your body that are holding on to trauma. Notice if you feel any tingling, twitching, pressure, pain, or sensations. Recognize where that trauma is living in your body. Take a deep breath. And as you breathe in pure white light. And with every breath, see that white light move to any areas of trauma held within your body. And now you'll find that you are calmer, that your anxiety and fears may have released just a little bit. So now it is time to go even deeper into your healing, even deeper into the trauma. Know that you are safe, that you are in a safe space. If you choose, and is within your belief system, call on your guardian angels to stand behind you as sentinels of protection. Feel their strength, feel their protection as we start to walk back into the past. We start walking down a long corridor. You can hear your footsteps echo as you step down past your life experiences as an adult, down past being a teenager, down past every door of every year of your life until you reach the door, which is the age that your childhood trauma first occurred. Notice that your name is on the door and your age is listed on this door. Take a deep breath in and enter the room. As you enter the room, you will notice that you are not a participant in what is going on, but rather that you are aware and just watching. You'll see your childhood self sitting in this room. Deep breath in, making yourself known and visible to your childhood self. Walk up to yourself and just gather yourself up into your arms, embracing your childhood self in a beautiful, warm, protective hug. As you hold your childhood self, notice that your guardian angels start to form a circle around you and your childhood self. The pillar of light, an open column of light, a beautiful white golden healing light surrounds you and your childhood self from floor up through the ceiling in the sky, all the way up to Creator and the universe, connecting you with your higher power. Continue to deep breathe in and know that you are about ready to embark on a sacred healing journey. I'll command all entities and interference to leave the room. All negative attachments and spirits must leave and never return. We detach all entities and affections that are afflicting the body, mind, and soul. They have no power over us. They have no power over us to control us, hurt us, or harm us anymore. We permanently and completely disconnect from all host entities that are causing us harm. Deep breathe in. Focus in again on holding your childhood self. Feel the energy shift as you realize you are completely and wholly protected. Whisper into the ear of your childhood self. You are safe. You are protected. You are strong enough. You are worthy enough. You are loved. You are worthy of good things. You are worthy of good people. You are worthy of kindness and gratitude and love and support. And finally, tell your childhood self, I love you. We'll now focus in on the perpetrator of the trauma, knowing that we are in a safe space and a safe circle. Visualize the cord, connection, and bond that is between you and this person. It may look like a rope, a chain. It may look like sticky tar-like substance. Find whatever tool you need, scissors, bolt cutters, torch, and disconnect that cord. And as you cut that cord, watch it fall to the ground into a pile of ashes. As a gentle healing breeze picks up those ashes and blows them away from you, permanently disconnecting you from all cords, bonds, intentions that are draining your energy and continuing to harm you. We permanently disconnect backwards in time, disconnect any connections forward into the future on all levels and all dimensions. We disconnect this connection. Take a deep breath in as you feel your strength and power return back to you. We will release all judgment, fear, anger, resentment, and pain caused by this person. If need be, you may take a moment to voice to this person forgiveness, voice to them any pain that they have caused you. Say anything you would like to this person. Doing so with loving heart and intentions, without using fear or anger or resentment. Communicate what you need to this person that caused this trauma. And now we will ask one of the angels that is surrounding us to take the person or being or persons that caused our trauma out of our room. We ask this angel to escort this person away from us, that all cords and connections are permanently disconnected, with the exception that if this person heals, and we choose this as a conscious choice, they may come back into our lives in their healed version with our permission. And as this person leaves the room, we'll have our angels escort this person out and close the door. Take a deep breath in. Feel the freedom and the release and the peace of mind, knowing that you are no longer going to be affected or hurt by this person. Take a deep breath in. Give your childhood self one last hug goodbye. Squeeze them tightly and send them love and compassion. Help them to understand that nothing that happened was in their fault or control. That as a child, they were innocent, blameless, and faultless of other people's actions. And as you squeeze one last time, notice that your childhood self starts to melt within your body, reintegrating a piece of you that was lost so long ago, fitting in a missing puzzle piece, completing who you are. Stand up, take a deep breath in. Notice that the circle of protection has fallen down, that any angels you have protecting you have parted ways, and you see that there is a path laid out in front of you. You start walking down this path, and you notice that there are other versions of you on this path. That every time this original trauma occurred and another trauma experience or emotional disruption happened where you separated from yourself, created these other versions of you. That through your survival instincts, you had tried to separate from the pain. But now it is time to bring back every piece of you, to call in every part of your soul that has been taken, damaged, or disconnected from you back into who you are. So as you walk down this path, you see an older version of yourself, maybe a teenager, maybe an adult. Take this version of yourself, give them a big hug, tell them that you love them, and watch them melt back into your body. Continue on this path. And as you walk down this path and you find other versions of yourself, repeat this process. Gather this piece of you in your heart, giving them perfect love and understanding. Reintegrate this piece of you into your soul. As you near the end of the path, you notice that there is an older version of you, that this person is much older than you are now, They are on the end of their journey throughout this life. Notice that this person is happier and stronger, more peaceful and balanced, and healthier because of the healing work you have done today. Rejoice in knowing that you have succeeded in healing that part of yourself. Feel the emotions and gratitude of knowing that you are complete and healed in the future, that your body has restored and regenerated, that your heart and your mind and your soul have been rebalanced. Your future self wants to say something to you, and that is thank you. Thank you for the healing work that you have done today and the healing work you will continue to do, for it has saved me and made me a better person. Take their hands in yours, look in their eyes, and feel the gratitude and love and peace that the healing has reflected into your body, mind, and soul. Your future self turns and walks away, going down, down, down that path that is your life until they are no longer visible again. Hold the knowledge in your heart that you will once again meet each other and have that joyful reunion. Now, I want you to deep breathe in, focusing on any roots that are growing out of your feet into the earth below you. With every breath in, envision those roots drawing up pure white energy and light. With every exhale out, see those roots pull any dark, stagnant energy that is remaining in your body. Breathe the light in, exhale it out. Draw it in through the feet, all the way up through your sacral chakra, through your solar plexus, through your heart, through your throat chakra, through your third eye, up to the crown. Then cycle it back down to the crown, the third eye, the throat, the heart, the solar plexus, the sacral chakra, down through the root and out. Gently rebalancing, regenerating your chakras as they continue to move, regenerate, and restore. Focus in now on your heart chakra. And at every beat of your heart, you see light beat from your heart, and it grows with every beat to a beautiful white light in your chest. With every beat, this light flows through your arms, up through the top of your head, down through your legs and feet. Starting at the floor, it swirls around you in a beautiful white healing light. This healing light expands, pushing out, restoring, healing, regenerating any cracks, any holes, any damage in your auric field, in your soul, subconscious perspective or chakras. That white light pushes out through the cracks as it seals them and regenerates your body. Take a deep breath in. And then speak with me these words. I permanently clear all negative emotions, attachments, and experiences related to my trauma. I heal and restore my body. I command every cell, the DNA, the blood, the muscles and organs, bones, tendons and nerves, and all other parts affected by my trauma to restore to their original intent and purpose. Deep breath in and say, I permanently clear from my perspective, backwards through time, healing all generations who came before me, forward into the future, healing all generations who come after me, sideways, up and down. I clear all layers on all levels, permanently and completely. Take a deep breath in. And say thank you. Sit for a moment in peace and gratitude. Feel the emotions of joy and elation, of how it feels to be healed and restored, not only now, but also the healing that you will receive in the future. Sit with that emotion and the peace. When you're ready, you can gently move your body. Flex your fingers and toes, wiggle your arms, move your neck. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes, come back into the room, and rebalance. Just deep breathe in. So you guys might feel tired. You might feel like you need a nap. Recognize that feeling tired is your body saying, I am in a healing process and I am working to heal. So if you need to take a nap or go to bed early, go do that. Recognize that we are in a healing space. And so try not to do things that are energetically disruptive. So don't go listen to death metal or watch a scary movie. Stay away from the news for a little bit, because the body will reflect in, the body doesn't know, your subconscious doesn't know the difference between a scary movie and actually something that's scary happening to you. So keep in mind that as we're healing, watch comedies, listen to soft, gentle healing music, classical music, church hymns, meditation music, anything that can balance your energy. When you feel up to it, you can either take a shower or take a bath, and cleanse and rinse your body. Use salt water. If you're in a tub, you can put sea salt, Epsom salts, or essential oils in your tub to help cleanse you. If you don't have a tub and a shower, you can take sea salt and make a cleansing salt scrub. You can mix it with a liquid soap or mix it with olive oil. Just be careful, olive oil will make your shower really, really slippery. Use that salt to scrub your body. You can just stand in the water and envision like a waterfall that is flowing around you and healing you. That water is very cleansing and healing. And so be supportive of your body, be balancing, regenerative. I am going to do this tonight as soon as this is done processing. I don't care how late I have to stand up. This is going on my website. It's going on my YouTube. I know Katrina's over there laughing because I keep saying I'm going to do this, but this is an important class. I'm going to do this. I get so behind, guys. I get distracted by my kids. I don't always get these things up. Speaking of kiddos, one just tried to walk in. But this is really important. So I'm going to make it available for free for anybody. So the replay will be on my YouTube, or you can go to my website. I have a free membership program. You can sign up for the free slot. Or there's paid ones, but you only need the free one to access this. And I will do also a journal page and like a little worksheet that you guys can also work through this trauma. I did have a question on TikTok that said, what could be taken from just listening to this, but not going through the entire meditation? Any healing, you don't have to go through all of it to receive it. There are some people that have trouble visualizing and things like this. Just know that I am sending healing along with the meditation. So this isn't just a meditation, but this is me sending anyone who listens to this energy healing and connecting you and reconnecting you to healing. Someone asked, what oils do I recommend? Lavender is always a safe bet. I actually, in my energy clearing spray, this is lavender. Cedar is really good. Palo Santo is good. I personally love patchouli. People have a love-hate with patchouli, but patchouli is amazing for like anxiety and depression. You can use citrus oils. Keeping in mind, some people are reactive to citrus oils. For me, like if I put citrus essential oil in my tub, my skin's gonna be on fire. My body doesn't like it. So just be mindful of those things for you guys. Citrus and sun don't mix. Yes, somebody on Zoom mentioned that. So yeah, citrus is one of those oils you have to be kind of careful with. So I have always found lavender is a really safe bet. It's gentle for everybody and it's clearing. And that's what I use in my energy clearing spray. If you want to make your own energy clearing spray, it's really simple. It's just sea salt. I use spring water. I have little bits, chunks of Palo Santo, and then I just put lavender essential oil and you can spray it. I make a little bottle. So I'll use this like in my room, like to clear everything out. But I even make little bottles and keep it in my purse to clear the energy as I'm out and about. So that I think is, it's something fun that you can do. Crystal wise, my favorite crystal, now keeping in mind that I feel that you should just go to a crystal store and see what calls out to you, because that's going to be best for you. Because I was always told, ooh, rose quartz, but that never connected with me. I was like, yeah, I'm not feeling the rose quartz. So my favorite crystal is actually kyanite. It's kind of an ugly crystal. It's blue. And they will flake off. I don't know if you can see on my hands. So if you find one that's stabilized in resin, just know that that's okay. But kyanite will gently realign your chakras, and it will also be protective and healing and balancing to you. So when I first started my healing journey, I would buy a kyanite necklace and I'd wear it till the crystal broke, and I'd go buy another one, and I'd go buy another. I went through like 3 of these before I was finally like, okay, time to get something else. And now you guys will probably notice I wear a lot of turquoise. I'm not wearing that now, but turquoise is kind of my new healing crystal. So those are great healing, balancing crystals. Smoky quartz is another great one that's gently healing and protective that I really like. There's a lot of different crystals out there, but I always just tell people, go to your local crystal store and just see what calls out to you. Pick up that crystal, go home, Google it on the internet, and you'll probably find that that's exactly the crystal you needed. Somebody on Zoom mentioned tourmaline. This is one that I have that's actually quartz and tourmaline together. And that one can be really good for you as well. So just go for what's called to you. If you're dealing with addiction that's connected with your trauma, amethyst could be a good one for you. So, everybody needs different crystals. And so don't be sucked into like the trendy stuff of like, oh, the first crystal you have to go buy is this one and that one. When I get this healing meditation up, watch it again, over and over again. You can go through this meditation more than once. What I will do on my website is I'll post the whole video on YouTube, but then on my website, I'm going to section it out and I'll have the whole video. And then I'm going to separate the meditation as well. So that if you just want to come in and redo the meditation over and over again, to focus on that healing, you can. And you can just continue to do that healing meditation over and over again. So that will be available to you guys as well. So does anybody have any questions in regards to what we did? I know I've gone over a little bit, but I want to make space for questions. If anybody has any specific questions in regards to healing childhood trauma or what we've talked about today, I would love to support you and ask that. Can resting be enough of a cleanse? Sometimes the best thing I can do is take a freaking nap. Is it possible that I felt this healing moment 2 years ago? Yes, absolutely. Your body can even tell into the future. There's actually scientific evidence that your subconscious can predict the future, even up to 10 seconds in the future, and absolutely in the past. You know, especially if you're very connected, you may actually know about this. And your body might be predicting it, especially if you have really strong spiritual gifts. Speaking of spiritual gifts, I have noticed, holy guacamole, that most healers that are awakening right now are those that have experienced trauma. And I have found, because for me, I used to go back and like, why did this shit happen to me? Why was I treated so poorly? I'm a good person. I didn't deserve this. Why? And it really was like turmoil for me. I was like, why? This isn't fair. And I finally got the message that me going through the trauma was helping me to heal other people, that people are tired of perfect people telling them to be perfect, and then finding out that those perfect people aren't exactly perfect either. And so our imperfections, our traumas, our experiences can help us be connected, more relatable. But also that for some reason, we need these experiences to open these spiritual gifts more. I think it's made me a better healer. I can feel in my body the traumas of everybody else. We have a couple more questions here. I had a headache after I finished. Any reason why? Most likely you're probably dehydrated or you need to ground. So if you have any like symptoms like headache or dizziness, I would go drink some water. I would go put your feet in the grass or in the dirt outside barefoot for about 20 minutes, or touch a tree. Sometimes when I feel all the energy being built up, I'll touch a tree and I'll go, thank you for healing me, dissipate and release. And I'll envision the energy pushing into a tree. If you feel up to it, taking a walk can kind of help dissipate any extra energy that you've had built up. Does crying, oops, sorry, that just kind of flopped over. Does crying during healing help release the emotion and trauma? Yes. Like this is salt water. Your tears are salt water. Amazing way to cry. Crying is like, we're allowed to cry here. I tell my clients, sometimes I'll even cry with you. And I've been known to cry with my clients because it's very healing and releasing. So never judge yourself for crying. What about if the person you want to cut cords with has already passed? They still exist. Remember, just because the physical body ceases to exist does not mean the spiritual body has ceased to exist. And so that person exists, and science has proven energy is never lost, it's only transferred. And so just because their energy has transferred out of the spiritual or out of the physical into the spiritual does not mean that you can't still heal and disconnect and work with that. It does not matter if they are alive or not at all, because we're working in the spiritual and there are no boundaries in the spiritual. So let's see, make sure I got all the questions. How long do you think it takes to heal? Okay, great question. Everybody's journey is going to be different. Like I said earlier, of how it's onions and we're peeling back the layers and we're crying and releasing. It depends on a lot of different factors. How long has the trauma been going on? Did it happen more than once? Is it repeating trauma? Because every trauma is like like cuts, cut. You know, so if you think about it this way, if you're cut 18 times, it's going to take your doctor a lot longer to sew you up versus if you're cut once. So look at how often the damage occurred. And really focus on what you need versus anyone else's time frame, and everyone's time frame is going to be different. And like I said, I think that healing is a continual journey, and you'll still find things that'll pop up and trigger you and pop up and trigger you. So just recognize that. I had an experience where I thought I was like doing really great. I'm on my healing thing. I'm rocking it. And then a good friend from high school is like, hey, let's start a book publishing company together. And I'm like, woohoo, let's do it. I found out she was a terribly unhealed narcissist and very abusive. And I thought, oh, I'm here to help her heal. I'm like this all-knowing healing person. This is amazing. I'm going to fix my friend. No, I was there because the universe is like, oh, you think you've healed? Okay, let's see if you've healed. Let's see if you've got those boundaries. Let's see if you're ready to move on to the next step. And so I was there to learn boundaries. And that was the hardest year I ever went through. It was like, and when I had to separate, and you will find with a lot of people who are narcissistic, as you are healing, there's going to be 3 things that happen to you. And I want to really set this out for you guys. People are either going to heal with you. They're going to go, ooh, yeah, I like what you're doing. Let's do this journey together. Like me and my dad, we healed together. And so we have a great relationship and it's amazing now. They're going to do another thing where they're going to go, nah, I don't like this. I don't want to be on your journey. Like my mom, who, when I put my boundaries up, she's like, sayonara, see ya. And I haven't heard from her in 4 years. And then the third thing is going to happen, especially if they're abusive, toxic, narcissistic meanies, is that they're going to go, ooh, come down here, come back where I recognize you. Let me pull you back down to where you were in your unhealed version, because they don't recognize you in your unhealed version and they want in your healed version. So they'll try to pull you back down. So you might notice as you're healing that your job is no longer aligned with you, that other people are no longer aligned with you, that you're going to have dramatic shifts. So if you suddenly get fired from work, don't fight it, because that's just saying they don't jive with the healed version of you. Like my business partnership, she did not jive with the healed version of me. She knew me as the one 20 years ago, the one that in high school, where we were in boarding school wreaking havoc together. And so she did not heal what I did, and she wanted me to be back down in that unhealed version. And people actually told me, they go, I noticed your personality was changing when you were working with her. And I did too. And I was like, okay, we can't go this. I'm not willing to go back down to where I was. And so what did I do? I said, I set my boundaries, she railroaded them, set the boundaries, she railroaded them. Finally, I was like, that's it, I'm done. I'm walking, peace out. I walked away from the book publishing company. I probably could have easily gotten a 6-7 figure settlement out of the company, and I didn't. I signed over the entire company to her and walked away from it. Everything. The only thing I took with me was my book that I'm writing. And I walked away and I burned the bridge, because she's like, well, it's okay if we're not still in business, we can still have lunch. And I was like, no, I don't trust you. We're not doing this. So I burned the bridge. But I've always left the door open. Hey, if you heal and you come back and you're healed, I might be open to a friendship again. Because I like to forgive people, and I like to think, if I can heal, if my dad can heal, then anybody can heal, and that they deserve a second chance. But that is your choice. It's not their choice. You get to decide who comes back into your life, not them. So keep that in mind as you're healing. That you're going to notice things change into your life, that people are going to fade away or push your boundaries, or do any number of things that can be disruptive to you. So when you notice, especially because we did a cord cutting tonight, guys, you might notice that the person that you cut cords with suddenly calls you, or you see their picture, or they show up on Facebook, or even if they've passed away, someone mentions their name. And it's going to feel triggering to you. Just recognize that when we have a cord, it's stretched tight like a rubber band, and we cut it, and it's going to go foop, and it's going to snap back, and the universe is going to go, whoa, what is this? What is this? And so recognize, because we did a cord cutting, that the next 2 weeks might be a little weird for you. That you might be pushed beyond your boundaries or feel like strange things are happening. When I did a cord cutting for my dad, I did a cord cutting because he was dating his secretary. Like, I love my dad, but like, what, dad? And they broke up, but she was still working for him. So I cut the cords between them. I cleansed his office, sent in light, clearing. And he's like, oh yeah, my patients are coming in. Everybody's saying the energy is different. It's amazing. Thank you. but then turmoil happened. She quit. He had to find a new secretary. He ended up having to have emergency back surgery and like a bunch of crazy stuff. So weird things start happening. Don't let it discourage you. Just say, okay, this is the universe rearranging for me. This is everything rearranging for my higher good. And, him getting back surgery was for his higher good because, he needed that for a while. Her leaving, he needed that for a while. She was kind of toxic to his business. And so just recognize that. Somebody asked, how can you heal faster? I would not do anything to force acceleration of healing, right? I would, go on the path that your body needs to be on. Because sometimes when we force the acceleration, um, it can cause more turmoil. Now, you can do gentle things to kind of help it, like crystals and essential oils and meditations. Journaling is really great. Like I said, I'll be adding journaling pages to my website with this as well. So those things will help the acceleration, but don't try to force the healing to happen on your time, because this is a spiritual healing. Allow it to happen on spirit's time. Somebody asked, what kind of boundaries do you set? So the boundaries are going to look different for everybody. So like for my dad, one of the things he would do is he would call me and he'd yell at me and he'd be like, it's your responsibility, because I'm the oldest, fix everything and fix everyone. Your brother's doing this. Like my brother was in heart failure. Your brother's going to die if you don't go tell him to eat better and to stop drinking Coke. Like it's my responsibility to fix my brother. And like, I can stop him from drinking Coke. And I went to him and I said, this is one of my favorite phrases for dealing with stuff like this is, Daddy, I love you too much to argue. I can't solve these things for you. It's not my responsibility to fix this. So I'm going to talk to you when we have a great conversation, when you can be nice and sweet. And for now, I'm going to go. Click, and every time he would start in on me again, I love you too much to argue, Daddy, I got to go. Click. And, this took several times. And now, one, my dad doesn't call me as much anymore. But when he does, we have beautiful conversations. And if he starts going into that, I go, Daddy, I love you too much to argue. And he'll shift the conversation really quick. And that's actually a favorite phrase in our house. I love you too much to argue. And so I get a lot of, I have a daughter who's 9. Her name is Zen. We totally gave her the wrong names. She is not Zen. And she's very dramatic. She's like 9 going on 30. And so she'll and I'll be like, I love you too much to argue. And I'll just walk away from her and then, she'll come back and when she's calmer, oh, I'm sorry, mommy. And then we'll have a great conversation. And we'll recognize the feelings and emotions. But arguing with people does no one any good. It damages your throat chakra. There's no reason to do it. So that phrase is amazing. And my adult children hate that phrase at this point, but they're like, I hated when you said that when I was a teenager, and they're like, you're gaslighting me. And I was like, I'm not gaslighting you. I'm just telling you I love you too much to argue, and I'm happy to talk to you, but not in an argument. And so it's funny that I've actually started seeing my teenagers reflect those things to me. My 18-year-olds, I also teach the phrase of, thank you for inviting me, but I'm not available, because there are people who will try to make us do things that they want, or are constantly draining us. This is another thing that we're reflective of trauma, is that we'll be overgivers. We'll want to help everyone and everything. And the overgiving can burn you out. And so I tell people to say, thank you for inviting me, but I'm not available. Unless someone really needs your help, like their hair is on fire, you can say this and protect your energy. And so my son actually said that to me yesterday. I say, oh, we're going, my dad was in town, we're going out to breakfast. Okay, we're going out to breakfast. And he goes, oh, thank you for inviting me, but I'm not available for that right now, but I'll talk to you more about it later when I get home. And it was like, at first I was like, you don't want to come to breakfast? And I was like, oh, he's setting good boundaries. All right, good job. So I was pretty proud of him to hear that come out of his mouth. Those are a couple of phrases that you can use to protect your energy. Also, if you are on the opposite end of where you are pushing people away, ask yourself, am I pushing people away because this is a boundary, or am I pushing people away because this is a fear? My husband and I had this conversation, I don't know when it was, a few months ago, and we had realized that we were both holding on to the fear that we were going to cheat on each other because our exes had cheated on us. And I'm like, dude, we've been married 20 years. I don't think this is going to go there. And he's like, yeah, I don't think so either. And I'm like, so why are we holding on to this? Because it's preventing us from loving each other fully and completely. And he was like, yeah, I think you're right. And so we both came to the realization that despite our traumas, that we had to open up our hearts to love fully and completely, um, so that we could fully experience and say, I've done everything I can to have a beautiful relationship. So open up your heart. Also with trauma, please recognize too that when you are traumatized, you will try to control things. And so like when I was dealing with my children, one of my oldest was addicted to drugs and alcohol, and we had to kick him out of the house, and it was just really bad. So I felt very out of control. So what did I do to control the situation? I started fostering dogs, and I was doing dog fostering because I'm like, I can't help him or fix him, but I can help the animals. So just recognize why you're doing things. Not that it's not a good thing to foster animals or do stuff like that, but recognize why. Also recognizing on the topic of animals, that your animals, because I saw somebody in our class had a kitty, and I'm like, oh, kitties. The animals have two heart chakras, one for themselves and one for you. And so having an animal with you can also help you with your healing journey and help you. Actually, there's two people with animals right now. I see two people with kitties, and I have a kitty too. Our kitty's name is Oscar, and I don't know where he is at this point, or I'd introduce you. But know that animals are very healing. And so if you're in the time and space to care for an animal, you might look at introducing an animal to help support you. There's a lot of studies that have shown the healing benefits of having an animal with you. So those are some other ways that you guys can heal. Can a fear and a boundary be one and the same sometimes? Sometimes, yeah. But, boundaries look at, I'm creating a healthy point of, I'm not going to cross this line. This is not healthy for me. A fear is saying, I don't care if it's healthy for me or not, I'm not doing it, you know? And so like a boundary for me that was healthy when I told my ex-business partner, I can only work these hours. This is what's healthy for me. And she was pushing me to work 80, 90 hours a week. My blood pressure was going up. And I was like, this is not healthy for me. So that was like a boundary that was healthy and protective of me. Another boundary that I had created was I don't like flying. And so I was like, I'm never going to fly for business. That's a fear-based boundary. And so I had to get over that fear-based boundary and realized that I had to let that go, because there's no way that I was going to be able to do what I was doing without travel. So recognizing that it doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter if you actually saw the person or just a shadow. Sometimes if it's just a shadow, that's just your body's way of protecting yourself from being over traumatized by seeing that person. So if you're in the meditation and you didn't see, this is a TikTok question, if you didn't actually see the person, but it's just shadow of them, that's okay. You don't, that's probably your body saying, I'm kind of protecting myself from that person or memory. So keep that in mind for sure, as you guys go along with that healing process. And so I know I've gone over about a half hour, but for the sake of time and being able to upload this to YouTube, we're going to call into the class today. And just know, as soon as I get the videos processed, I will add them to my YouTube channel and to my website. And it is spiritfluent.com. I am Spirit Fluent on YouTube. Every one of my social media channels is Spirit Fluent, exactly like it is in my username on TikTok. So you guys will be able to find those resources on my website. If you want the journal pages and to have the meditation separate, you can join with the free membership. And you can utilize that. Or if you just want to listen to the whole class all over again, it will be on my YouTube. And you guys are welcome to join that class and watch it over and over again. Rinse and repeat as many times as you guys need to. And if you guys are in need of any other healing and support, we have our Becoming Spirit Fluent program. We're about 4 weeks into that. where we're learning some amazing stuff, and you're welcome to join that. And it's a paid membership, but it's $24 a month, and you meet with me for 4 hours a day, not 4 hours a day, sorry, 4 hours a week, not a day. I would go crazy with that. And we have 3 classes with me. And then every Saturday, I bring in a mentor, one of my friends, one of my mentors, to also teach you guys. So you're going to learn from other people as well. And I think it's an amazing course, considering that a reading with me is $100. So somebody asked about the medical intuitive sessions. I am not opening up to medical intuitive calls until sometime in like July. I have a vacation coming up at the end of June, and I desperately need to reset my energy. I did a call on Friday with someone that was sick, and I was dizzy and really struggling. And so I really need that time to reset my energy before I can go back into that. And that's not only for my protection, but it's for yours. If I'm not feeling well, I don't want to project unwell energy to someone that's already struggling with health. So, but I do have my free Friday healing calls every Friday that I am still doing. And you guys are welcome to join those every Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So thank you, everybody, for coming. I appreciate all of you. And I have so much gratitude for you being a part of my journey and allowing me to help you as well, because you guys are helping me fulfill my purpose. So thank you so much. Have a beautiful night. And I will see you guys again soon. Bye.